the biggest piece of news is, you guys remember how Ghani went to Iraq and his job there was to try and get the proxies all together?
Before you say that, remind people Ghani is the head of the Quds army of the IRGC. Okay,
Yeah,
go on.
and
Yeah.
the Quds Force, I tried to say it in English. The Quds Force is basically their foreign expeditionary unit, you could call it. It's like they're outside the borders of Iran. It's like their terrorist militia proxy unit. Anyway, in Iraq, they have this new prime minister candidate, and he's called Zaidi. This guy is in a super tough position right now, okay? So Ghani came to Iraq, got the militias to give support to Zaidi, and then he left, thinking that Iraq's going to be on their side. And this post is just actually being like, yeah, my brother Zaidi, we wish him the best. He has our support, and et cetera, et cetera. And then at the same time today, on the 22-minute video that you were showing, and in other statements, Trump is giving his support for Zaidi. And so now this guy is stuck in between the Islamic Republic and the US directly. Keep in mind, over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of explosions around Iraq, in the Kurdistan region, that have been hit by the Islamic Republic. And then also, there's a ton of military force in Baghdad, like a ton right now. There's even patrol helicopters that are just going around the city. And it's just a very threatening environment. So I think the Islamic Republic was counting on Iraq to come to their aid in the coming week or two. And I'm really not sure if that's going to happen anymore. I really don't think so, but we'll see what happens. There
Why?
is, because if Trump gives his support, he's basically saying, I'm going to give you the money that I used to give, which they just cut off. I think it's a few $100 million that they would give to Iraq. And if they don't get that, their government is going to be completely bankrupt, especially because they can't sell their oil. So Zaidi's probably not going to be in a good position very soon unless he does give support to the United States. I don't see the Islamic Republic giving him that money. So it's going to be like a simple economic decision, I think, for Iraq. Or at the very least, I think what's hoping to happen, at least on the US side, I think they're hoping that these militia and the government of Iraq are just going to get tied up with each other so that the militia can't come into Iran to aid the IRGC. But
I
it
mean,
seems like
the militia is somewhat independent from the Iraqi government. So whoever is in charge with the Iraqi government, they have a big. They're not going to be able to hold back Lahash al-Shabi, for example, are they?
they won't be, especially because Zaidi is endorsed by the Hashd al-Shabi and other Iraqi militia. So now that he's getting Trump's endorsement, he's in a real tough spot. And that's
This is
pretty much,
bizarre. Like, how is somebody who's endorsed, who is close to Hash al-Shabi, is getting Trump's endorsement? Isn't that kind of weird? It's very
it's really
strange.
strange. But
Okay.
so today, the
Can you
Wall
zoom
Street,
in with that?
yeah,
Zoom in.
today the Wall Street Journal was talking about how Iran is ready to negotiate early next week, which is very specific. Early next week, I think they're catching on to the fact that maybe this weekend or probably next week is going to be the strikes, provided Washington is open to the new proposal. At the same time, the IRGC Navy today came out, and this post is completely in Farsi, so I'm not going to share it. I can't translate it here either. The IRGC Navy came out with a statement, completely independent statement, and they said, we're going to keep indefinite control of the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to make it into a source of prosperity for the Iranian people. We're going to exact tolls. No one's going to take it away from us. And I think that's why Trump is saying these guys they're not unified at all. They don't even know who's negotiating with us. They don't know, like, one group wants this, one group wants that. And now, like, those were the two main points I wanted to share, but there's a couple of funny things as well. In Zanjan province in Iran today, 14 Deedle D and Deedle Dums went to try and defuse a unexploded bomb, and they all died.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, so 14 IRGC, like bomb squad, whatever. Right? Seriously doubt these guys have expertise in bomb diffusing. They probably have great expertise in bomb planting, and I think that's the result of their, you know what.
Oh
Next
my
up,
god. Wait,
yeah,
what is that? Whose bomb is that?
This is an unexploded bomb. It's either by Israel or the United States. I don't know why they
Could it
didn't
be
just.
guarded? Could it be guarded Javidan? Yeah.
I don't know. It says unexploded ordnance. Seems to be
Ordnance.
like a
Okay.
more sophisticated missile.
Oh no, it says that pay bombardanea venido Schwen. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay. So
It's not.
aerial. Yeah.
It's yeah.
So that's funny. And this is reported on state media. So that's also
Wow.
like another blow to their morale. BB posted a video from the gym, and this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Armin, I think you probably also, I don't know, if you guys work out, like this is the funniest thing ever because look at how bad he does not want to be there.
Oh, it's okay. That's good for an old man.
It is, but this, I just, yeah, he does not want to be there at all. Does not want to be there at
He should
all.
keep his.
And then he goes upstairs and makes an egg and eats that.
Makes
But
okay.
I thought that was
All
really
said
funny.
in the middle.
And the last piece of news. Oh wait, where'd it go? Oh, okay. I'll just give you a summary. You guys remember Morandi, the nuclear scientist? He's coming out, and he's been saying like all whack shit, like whack stuff for the past like month.
Morandi is not a nuclear scientist. Is he a nuclear scientist?
I think
Morandi
he, I
Chandy?
think he was.
Really? I
Yeah,
thought he was just like a Okay, let me see. Okay, let me check it.
but
Go
he
on.
came out today, and he's like, yeah, there's a Danish terror group that's trying to kidnap me. So this guy's losing his marbles. He's completely losing his marbles. Anyway,
Oh, I think he's just a political analyst. Say, Mama, political analyst. Wait, yeah, Morandi. Don't give him that much credit. Nuclear. Yeah, I don't think he has any nuclear.
okay, it
Oh,
says
he is
yeah,
he
he
was
was the
an advisor
advisor.
to the Iranian nuclear negotiation team. Yeah, he's just a political. Yeah, he's not very. He doesn't know. He's not a scientist or anything like that. Yeah. Okay, those are some interesting updates. I'm really interested. I really do want to know what the hell is happening in Iraq. So we have to look into that a lot more. There were some responses. Some people wanted to add comments. I think it was Sketch.
Yes,
Sketch.
good. Go ahead.
Yes. So these are shakeups in Iraq, right? Getting endorsed by Trump might have the same effect there that it has in Iran. It's like the kiss of death. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like him. His friends are going to kill him now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That could be an effect. And there's also shakeups in OPEC. So any nations that would be like, look, I'm not doing this cartel thing because I might need to sell more than you, or I might need to sell other things. So if Iraq is in OPEC, that could be something that's affecting the calculations in a lot of these nations and their posturing. So I would take that into consideration. That's my comment on that.
Okay. All right. I see more responses.
Next is Shauna.
Shana. Yeah.
I just have a question real quick. I was watching Tusi earlier, and he was talking about the UAE took down the Iranian or the RCG flag and put up the sun flag, and he said in some of the shops, and then also it looks like they were making other moves. I don't know. All of what he said, there was a lot of words. I only watched it once, so I don't know if anybody has any updates on that. That was just my question. Is the UAE maybe getting involved when we strike again? Because I would love for the Arabs to go ham on some of these.
This is what you're referring to in the UAE. So this is
Yeah.
an Iranian account, but I saw this many places. So let's look at this is in the grocery store, and instead of the Islamic Republic flag in the UAE, they're using the lion and sun flag.
Yeah.
Let's look at the translation here. So the UAE has removed the flag of the Islamic Republic from their stores and places with any mention of Iran and replaced it with the lion and sun flag. And this person is also saying, I never thought the day would come when it feels close to the UAE, because the Iranian people don't have a positive view towards the UAE because of the dispute over some of the islands in the Persian Gulf, but they're loving this. And the UAE is now the most, after Israel, the UAE is currently the most aggressive country against the Islamic Republic because their entire business model has been challenged by the Islamic Republic, right? Their entire everything has been challenged. So if I want to rank countries based on their level of aggression against the Islamic Republic, Israel is first, and United States is not second. The United States is third. UAE is second, and maybe Saudi Arabia and the USA are like third, both together, right? But the UAE is really these bombardments have turned the UAE into a great enemy of the Islamic Republic. Like,
I think it's great. You know what? I encourage the Arabs to be their petty little selves against these Durkas because
this is not petty. This is a genuine, correct position. But
it is a
we
correct
should actually.
position. But it's a correct position for them to be aggressive. What I'm saying is a little bit. They're also asserting the fact that the pettiness is basically instead of being like the fake Ummah shit that a lot of times they try to do, the pettiness is more that they're like, listen, we're not going to respect you as Muslims. You're not real Muslims. And also, you're assholes. Like,
The UAE is not, it has for a while been putting aside the Islamic shit. They still have to use it as branding to some extent,
okay.
but it's not about the UAE doesn't think in terms of whether you're real Muslim or fake Muslims. The UAE thinks in the terms of commerce and money.
Okay.
That's how they evaluate things, right?
That's
They
good
think about
then, actually.
yeah. In fact, they see Islam as this Islamic shit as a problem that they are forced to some extent to give lip service to, but they would rather it was not there at all. They prefer it not to be there at all. They're very intolerant against any form of Islamic, like any
Yeah, they
form of
don't like the
like
jihadis. I know that they won't send their kids to. I saw they were not going to send their kids to Britain anymore for university
yeah,
because they're like, no,
yeah.
they're
They're afraid of the level of Islamism in the UK, and they don't send their children to the UK because they think that their children will be radicalized Islamically in the UK. That's an
and they're
official
not
position.
wrong. To be fair, they're
Yeah.
not wrong.
Yeah.
I'd feel that.
They actually had warned the West that they're too tolerant of Islamization of their country. The UAE was warning European countries at some point. You guys are retarded.
I
What do you-
I don't know. I think that's great. What are the relationships between the UAE and because okay, so the UAE and the Saudis, they're both Arabs, right?
Yeah, again, let me tell you something. The UAE doesn't care about whether you're Arab or you're Muslim anymore. They care about financially and security wise whether you have something to offer or not. That's what they care about right now. So they care about security and commerce. So Arab, non-Arab, they have normalized relationship with Israel 4 years ago, 6 years ago. Okay, that's great. The greatest taboo
No, I
thing to
knew
do.
that. Yeah, I knew that they
Yeah.
normalized relationships. After October 7th, granted this is just individuals, but a lot of individuals from the UAE did condemn October 7th.
Also, they openly thanked Israel for giving them the Iron Dome to defend against the Islamic Republic, and they said to Israel that they will never forget this. They openly say that this was not a secret statement to Israel. UAE, first of all, Israel has never shared the Iron Dome with anybody. This is the first country that they shared it with. Ukraine asked for it, they said no, and the UAE asked for it, and Israel said yes. Okay, and UAE came out and said that the UAE will forever remember this, that Israel did this for them. These are the most taboo things you could say in the Arab and Islamic world, and they have no shame over openly saying it.
Yeah. In some ways, what about the Saudis though? And they're in a weird. Are they just anti-IRCG? Or are they more? I know that they're warming towards Israel, but I think it's a little bit harder for them.
So the Saudis want to be able to do what the UAE is doing, but they're dealing with a more radical population. So they have to be worried about causing an Islamic uprising in their own country. So they have to pretend that they care about the Palestinian cause to some extent, but the Saudis hate the Palestinian cause. The Saudis wish the Israelis would just nuke everything that people refer to as Palestine. They actually would prefer that. They would love if that happened, right? But they have a population of people who hate Israel. The UAE doesn't have to worry about that as much. They still do have to worry about that to some extent. That's why they have to pay lip service to it, but not as much as Saudi Arabia.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I think that's great. I would love for the children of Abraham to team up to save the children of Cyrus. I think that'd be fun.
Oh my god. Okay. That's
But the end.
interesting. Yeah, okay. All right. This, by the way, guys, this is not going to be. I know some other people want to talk about this. I just want to warn people that it's not going to be as hunky dory going forward. Once Iran is free, I really hope that we could have a really good relationship with the UAE, like Iran and the UAE. I just think there's going to be some disputes over some islands, and it's going to make it very challenging for Iran and the UAE to have a good relationship. It's not going to be about Islam. It's not going to be about Palestine or jihad or stuff like that. It's going to be about border disputes.
You just give the land to America, free
Yeah.
islands. America takes it. You just make them bases, and it's fine. I'm kidding. I know
Okay,
it's hardest
Be,
territories.
be careful with those jokes around Iranians because they're not gonna think it's funny. Okay, be careful. All right. Let's go to the next. I don't get offended over these things, but just have to be careful. Okay. All right.
Next to respond is Hila.
Hila.
Okay. It's just a small thing. I don't know how truthfully it is, but when I was in Egypt, you can see how do you call it? Arab Saudit, Saudi Arabia, how you call it? So you can see
Saudi
it,
Arabia.
and they do a lot of sea trade, and they say, oh, Saudis are actually cool people. They just like to sell fabric. They buy fabric, and then they sell us the dresses. And when we talk to them, they always want also to, because they come with good views on Israelis, so that when they meet with them, they always say that they say it, and I don't know if how true it is, if it's specific for a two population that do trades or it's bigger, but it feels like the people there are not that extreme. That is at least what my Egyptian friends are saying.
People where in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, at least by the coast.
So,
that they just want to make business and trade and economics and stuff.
So in Saudi Arabia, we have both types of people. Okay, so we have the Saudis themselves who are more commerce minded rather than Islamic minded, but we have the Wahhabis. Okay, so the Saudi Arabia is a marriage between two families, a literal marriage. They actually married each other, right? And that's how Saudi.
Mountain people.
Hold on, let me talk. So the Wahhabi family and the Saudi family, they had a son and a daughter from the family marry each other, and that was the foundation of the movement that eventually led to the Saudi Arabia. So the Saudis were always wealth from the very beginning. They were wealth and power motivated, but they used the Wahhabis Islamism, like Islamization agenda, as a way to gain power. But eventually, they got tired of them and saw them as a limiting factor. They tried to divorce them once in 1970s, but in 1979, the Islamic Revolution in Iran gave the Wahhabis a motivation to start doing terrorist attacks. They actually attacked the Kaaba. There was a bloodbath in the Kaaba, and then that scared the Saudis, and they went back to appeasing the Wahhabis and make everything more Islamic again. And now they're reattempting that divorce. But the thing is that for years, the Saudis invested in Wahhabi madrasas and mosques in Saudi Arabia and all around the world. And now it's making that divorce more difficult because they created this monster that is now haunting them. And they have a base inside Saudi Arabia. They're still there. It's really hard for them to express their dissent against the Saudis because right now it's like the Saudis are very monitoring and controlling the environment there, and they're becoming a lot more aggressive and against any form of dissent. But so the Wahhabis are still there, and also Muslim Brotherhood is also still there. And a lot of people in Saudi Arabia, they hate the Saudis, and they consider the Saudis to be an extension of Zionism, and they think that the Saudis do not reflect Islam at all. And their number one priority is to one day kill all the Saudis. So this is why the Saudis are rightfully afraid of an Islamic revolution in Saudi Arabia, similar to what happened in Iran in 1979. That fear is justified. That fear is justified. So, yeah.
All right,
Okay.
Shauna wanted to respond again.
Oh, this is rumors, but it's from reliable source. But there are rumors in Mormon land that the Saudis have invited us to build a temple in some of their desert. Now, there's no plan on that. That hasn't been announced in the church or anything like that. But that actually would make sense because it would be a buffer for, it would bring another religion in. It would be create competition and a buffer. But it would also bring business in. And also, I just found this out. So this is not me personally. I just found this out. But there's apparently a lot of tech going on in Mormon land too. There's like a mini Silicon Valley in Utah. So it makes sense that the Saudis would want to encourage that because it could bring in competition in a way that's not.
That is the most un-Islamic thing to do, by the way, because when it comes to other religions, you're not supposed to allow any religion to promote itself in Islamic land. They get to, if they're part of the Abrahamic faith. By the way, Sean, I hear some background, so if I'm talking, can you mute your microphone? Thank you. If they're part of the Abrahamic faith, they're allowed to exist, but the state is not allowed to allow them to expand or grow or to promote. And if any leader does, that would be definite proof that this is not Islamic rule. That would be the most obvious proof that this is not Islamic rule. So it's very, if that, I don't know if the rumors are true, but if that is the case, it would be one among many other thousands of reasons for why Muslims don't consider the Saudis to be Islamic rulers. And I agree with them. I don't consider the Saudis to be Islamic rulers. Mohammed bin Salman a few years ago came out and basically said that no hadith, no Islamic hadith can be seen as authentic unless it's mutawatir. So not even sahih was good enough for him. He said it has to be mutawatir, which means basically he just, with that statement, he threw out 98% of Islamic teachings. He threw it out the window by just making that statement, which is such a radical statement to make.